are going to be really, really positive and really benefit you, whether you are someone that likes my day-to-day home kind of stuff, or the kind of the more magical and the travel and the adventures and stuff. So anyway, before we get started, just a quick first actually, I should probably introduce myself. If you've managed to land on this really randomly and you don't know who I am, my name's Rhiannon Morgan. You might know me from my main channel, Mummy04 UK, from my Disney channel, Mummy04 Does Disney, or my podcast channel, Real Talk with Rhi. Say hello when you jump on. If you're here live, I'd love to see who's here live. If you have a specific question for me, start your comment with question in capitals and then write the question in. And what I'm going to do is kind of go through the things I want to discuss with you and the things I want to tell you. And then I'm going to come back, read your comments and answer your questions if that is okay with you. So quick hellos. I can see Freya, Gemma, Kira, Georgia, hello. And I will now dive into what I want to talk to you about and then come back to the comments. So a very quick why the channel started and how I've kind of ended up where I am, and then it will probably make a bit more sense when I tell you about the changes that I'm talking about doing. So I started, bear in mind, my youngest now is 8, and I started when she was just a few months old. I originally started on YouTube and very, very quickly realised it was very difficult and shelved it quite quickly in favour of just Instagram and the blog. But ultimately I wanted to share all of the tips, tricks and hacks I was using to celebrate my life together, the stuff that I wish that someone had shared with me. Very quickly realised that YouTube is really hard work, especially with a small baby. Shelved it until 2019. So I was still talking about all the same stuff, but it was just on my blog, which obviously you can type with noise in the background and it doesn't matter about filming and stuff. In 2019, we were on the Gruffalo River Ride in Chessington World of Adventures. I was filming the children and I thought, oh, how can this be? I may as well just do YouTube. I may as well just do 3 videos a week. I ordered a camera on the way home and I've done at least 3 videos a week every single week since, which is a lot. So that was 2019. When I'm in 2025, where's the time going? So obviously I was doing sort of videos about mum life, and then we were doing trips and things. We did a fair amount of like press trips and things in 2019, Legoland, sort of Park Dean trips. Just shout out down below actually if you've seen any of those like pre-COVID trip vlogs, where the kids are really, really tiny. They're really cute. Then obviously COVID happened. I was already doing a lot of videos about moving into this house, and then the only videos I could make were house kind of videos because the whole world was legally obliged to stay in. And I think everyone at that time found that challenging. I think I can now reflect at how challenging I found that at the time. I was very keep calm and carry on at the time, but I was getting up at 4:30 in the morning, working. I was like doing editing and stuff, and then I was at home schooling the children. It was a lot. We all know it was a lot. So in 2021, when the Disney Magic Sea Cruises came about, I was just like, right, I've always wanted to take the children to Disney since they were tiny. We're just doing it. We're not putting our lives on hold anymore. We're booking that trip. And I wanted to really geek out and kind of go deep and do a really in-depth vlog series. If you've seen my Disney vlogs, then they're really in-depth. And I thought that it might bore people on my main channel. So I started my Disney channel as a bit of a passion project. It was literally going to be for those Disney Magic at Sea cruises, for the cruise vlogs. And then once the, I don't know what I was going to do after that, maybe nothing. It was just going to be a passion project. And it kind of evolved into what it is today. Shout out down below if you're here from the Disney channel. Since then, we've done Disney Magic Cruise. We've done Walt Disney World. We had a year of annual passes at Disneyland Paris. We sailed again on the Dream. Then we did Walt Disney World and the Wish and the Dream. And there's more to come. I can see a couple of questions popping up about that, but I'll let you know towards the end of the live what kind of hints at what's coming. So basically, the Disney Channel took on a whole life of its own, which is really exciting. But I've made some mistakes along the way that I like. If I could go back in time, I would tell myself. The first one being, if you're going to pick a channel name, just use your own flipping name, okay? I've started to try and use my own name more now, partly because I have started writing a book, and I realised that a lot of people don't know my name. They're just like, hey, Mummy of 4. And it's like, just, if you're going to start a channel, just use your own name, okay? Just use your own name. And that way you can turn that channel into whatever you want it to be. So I've been trying to move towards using my own name more in my intros and things. So for those of you that have noticed, like, oh, your intro's changed, that's sort of why. And really, I should have just called my channel my name, which is Rhiannon Morgan, and then I could have pivoted to whatever. Ultimately, putting Disney in the title of my Disney channel made sense to me at the time because we were just doing Disney things. But, and this is what we're kind of getting into, just before anyone panics, by the way, you're not losing any Disney. We're not going to be doing any less Disney, okay? There's just more, okay? We want to do more. So one of the questions we always get is, how come when you go to Florida, you haven't done Universal? A few reasons. Number one, Disney's really clever, and they sell UK packages where they're like, you get pay for 7 days of park tickets, and you get 14 included. So in effect, you have to like give up a Disney day to go to Universal. And the first time we went, the kids were so small. I looked at the Universal things. They just wouldn't have been tall enough for a lot of it. They weren't as interested in it. It just wasn't for us, and we would have had to give up a Disney day, so it didn't make any sense. And it was going to be a lot of extra money on an already not cheap trip. On the last trip, we were only there, was it 7 nights? Was it 7 nights we were in Walt Disney World last time? I think it was. And we only just got around all the Disney stuff we wanted to do, and I barely slept at all. It was amazing and magical, but I was exhausted. So we didn't get around Universal. Now, they're really keen to do Universal. So I don't know, I just wish I hadn't called my channel, put Disney in the name, because it's like, now does it make sense to put Universal there? So what I've been doing is, if it's anything to do with Disney at all, so Disney events in London, or actual Disney trips, I put them on my Disney channel, or if we go shopping in the Disney store, and everything else goes on my main channel. So basically, if the video says Disney in it much, it goes on the Disney channel, and that's the kind of barometer for it, which is a bit weird. So I was just like, well, if we go back to Florida and we do Universal, where does that go? So this was sort of the catalyst for, one of the catalysts for starting all of this. By the way, can I just shout out to anyone who's in my Patreon? If you're not in my Patreon, by the way, come join me in there. It's super, super fun. It's a lovely community of people. There's a forever free tier to get you started. Or there are paid options if you want like early release videos and principles and all sorts of things, but there's a forever free tier where you can come hang out with me. I know that you guys who are in my Patreon have already had, I've kind of brain farted some of this at you a few weeks ago, and I've really clarified what I'm talking about. Hopefully it makes a bit more sense now, but so grateful for the clarity you gave me back then. And I think everyone in my Patreon said that, almost everyone said that this plan is going to work. So are you ready for the plan? Are you ready for the plan? By the way, I'm just having a sip because I'm not sponsored in any way, but I'm flipping addicted to these things, okay? Just saying. Okay, so at the moment, in fact, perhaps you can let me know in the comments and let me see if this is right. So at the moment, it seems that I've got a load of videos on my main channel, which are, so I've got like day-to-day vlogs, mum life stuff. I've got cleaning. I'm doing a massive decluttering series at the moment, which is really hard work. I challenged myself with 100 days left to go to declutter my whole house by the anniversary of the day we moved here. We're now down to 60 odd days, and I've done a total of 4 days of decluttering. But still, it's satisfying when it's done, but good grief, it's hard work. Anyway, I've got a lot of that stuff, but it seems to be watched by mums, not necessarily just mums. I'm generalizing, but like as a whole, it tends to be like the kind of thing that I would watch. Obviously, I don't watch my own videos because I'm sick of them once I've edited them, but it's the kind of thing that I would watch while I am pottering, doing stuff. I would watch it on my iPad or my phone, maybe while I'm making dinner. If you watch my main channel videos, as in not where we go on trips and stuff, but the videos where I'm just like cleaning, doing stuff in the house, shopping, just like I feel like those videos are me hanging out with another mum. Do you know what I mean? That's who I'm like talking to when I'm filming those videos. Hope this is making sense. However, the Disney videos, and I know this because I've met so many of you in real life, so shout out hello for those of you that come to say hi on the cruises and things. The Disney videos, a lot, according to my YouTube analytics, a lot more of them are watched on TVs compared to mobile devices. There's still a lot of people watching on TVs on my main channel, but I think that's more like the kind of thing I would put on if the kids were in school, you know, and I was on my own and I was pottering around and watching it. That's what I'm thinking. That's obviously YouTube can only tell you which, like the age and the location, not the exact location, but you know, the age in which country the person that holds the account is, so from a demographics point of view. But that's my general, that's what I believe to be true. Anyway, that's what I believe to be true. Anyway, the Disney videos seem to be people sitting down to watch them together, more like a TV show or a series, or I guess it's people that either just love Disney and want a Disney fix. And I know this because people message me and say, like, my kids love to sit and watch this with me, or we watch this together to plan for this trip or whatever. And we watch these videos together when we're planning for this cruise and things, for example, people we met on the cruise. So it seems to be, the travel stuff seems to be more, and by travel I mean Disney, seems to be more appealing to like families and watching together, maybe put it on the TV. And then the more like mummy stuff obviously doesn't necessarily appeal to the whole family. So what I'm thinking is, one more thing. We're obviously doing back to a lot more UK trips and things now. So we were doing them before COVID. We've done them very sporadically up until this last year. And now we've got a lot booked in. And I kind of feel like it's probably going to be a similar kind of audience of people, as in if you're going to Disneyland Paris, you'd like watch those videos with your kids. But if you're off to Alton Towers or Chessington or Thorpe Park or Paultons or whatever, then you'd watch those vlogs with your kids before you go, you know, to see like, oh, what should we go on? And oh, that looks good. And we don't fancy that. And what's the food like? And all that kind of stuff. And when we do theme park videos, I kind of feel like it's a very similar format to the Disney videos or any kind of trip videos that matter, in that I really like to share everything. And this partly comes from being a busy mum who wants to maximize the money you're spending on the trip, wants to maximize the magic. And also when you've got children with autism, you want to know that they are prepared for where they're going, so they'll enjoy it more. But also you just don't want any disappointment. You don't want to get somewhere and be like, oh, well, that was a nightmare. And like, where were the toilets? And that's why I'm always trying to share all of the stuff that I know is important as a parent, especially a parent with children with autism, for restrictions on like heights and things. Are they tall enough to go on things? Are they going to like the food? All that stuff that you want to make a decision on before you go. Like, shall I go to this place or not? Is it suitable for my family? So the idea is that I move anything that is travel based to the Disney Channel. And the Disney Channel, I don't drop the Mummy of Four Does Disney straight away because people won't know who the heck I am. But we move it to like Mummy of Four Does Disney Magical Adventures with Ree or something. I'm really open to channel title ideas, because I've got to say, the reason I don't love my channel names, any of them, they were all a little bit slap a name on it, done is better than best, because I am such a procrastinator. I would have used I haven't got the right channel name as an excuse not to start at all. Why is oh my goodness, I've got an alarm going off to go and pick up my daughter from dancing class that she's not actually in, because it's half term. That's clever, isn't it? Anyway, what was I even saying? Yeah, so if we move the trips and stuff to a trips channel, and then anytime we are traveling to Disney, to anywhere in the UK, all of that goes on like the travel trips channel. And like I say, that's what I was saying. Names. I would have totally procrastinated starting at all, because I would have been like, the name's not perfect. So I was just like, right, it's not perfect. Just slap that on it and get going. And that's generally my stance on things, I guess, to avoid myself procrastinating too much. So Anyway, this is the idea. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as we go forward. Ideas for names of the channels, and thoughts on the kind of setup. So I'm thinking I still want to do a Disney specific video on a Saturday morning, whether that is a trip vlog, wink wink, possibly more some coming up soon, or a prepping for a trip vlog. And at the moment I've got some prepping for Disney cruise videos coming your way. Guesses in the comments why that might be, okay? But there's a lot of videos about prepping for a Disney cruise coming up, okay? Just saying. Anyway, if we move the trips to become like magical adventures, and that way we've got so many different UK things lined up. I like the idea of this because I know so many of you love Disney, but I also know that Disney isn't super accessible. And I don't mean from a disability point of view because, they have their provisions for that. I just mean in that it's not in this country and it is not cheap. So there are barriers to getting there, like water. We live on an island. We have to physically, it costs more to travel to Disney because it is not in this country. So it's not a day trip kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe if you live in certain parts right on the end of England, you could do a day trip. I don't know, but it would be a really long day trip, wouldn't it? So I know that if I do more UK travel content, and I've got lots and lots of like little staycation trips and mini breaks and day trips and all that kind of stuff, I've got all of that coming, and I just kind of want to know where to put it. So I'm thinking if we put that on the magical trips, then hopefully the same people that enjoy the Disney stuff will love and enjoy that too. And if you love and enjoy my Disney stuff, I'd love it if you would just give some of those a go and tell me if you love those too. One of my lovely Patreon members, shout out who it was, I think was Gemma, was it you? Came up with doing a Memory Monday. I love this idea. So I've put one of them together already actually, and I've put together like a mega vlog it was an entire trip of Alton Towers vlogs, and it's come up as like 2.5 hours because it's like 3 days. So I can post that onto my Disney Trips channel to kind of start telling the YouTube algorithm, hey, I got like UK content as well for everybody, and showing that to people so that when we do new trips, then YouTube knows who to show things to what and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully I can kind of reshare some of that in kind of those long kind of bingeable videos. So that was a really fun idea. I think it was Gemma that came up with that. I can't remember, correct me if I'm wrong. But that was a brilliant idea. So yes, and then my main channel would just become my home channel. So eventually what I'll call it is, I think I've already changed it to Mummy of 4 UK, Rhiannon Morgan, and then it'll be Rhiannon Morgan, Mummy of 4. And then as the children get older, if they don't want to be anything to do with the videos anymore at all, because I always give them the option anyway, then it doesn't matter, because I'm always very, I only want to film the children if they want to be filmed. I'm trying not to film as much when we're at home. I don't know if you've noticed or not. And you probably haven't, because I guess it's just been their birthdays, which they're in loads, and Christmas, which obviously they're in loads. But they love watching those. And honestly, I film the birthday and Christmas ones because they love watching them back so much. If no one else watches them, it doesn't really matter. But generally, my day-to-day ones, I'm trying so hard to have a bit better balance and have kind of filming time during the day and then be more, like camera off, computer off when they're at home. So this would really fit with that, because if all my home channel stuff, I don't need, the children aren't in that, then that would all make sense. So basically, if you are only at my channel for like cleaning, decluttering, all that kind of stuff, and you're just not into Disney content, trips content, then that stuff will be moved on to the other channel. And from a YouTube algorithm point of view, I did a very in-depth course. I was selected to kind of do this training program with YouTube recently, and they were explaining all about the algorithm. But basically, it's very bonkers clever, and it just it shows a whole bunch of videos to people on their homepage, and then it shows similar things to people that people have already watched. And then if people are clicking on them and they're showing positive interactions with them, like watching longer periods or liking, commenting, that kind of thing, then they'll show you more and more of that stuff. So I think the confusion with my main channel at the moment is maybe you're there for cleaning and it shows you another one of my, they'll be like, oh, cleaning videos, I'll show another one of the videos, and it's like, oh, another cleaning one, and then maybe you watch that. But then maybe you get shown Alton Towers because YouTube's like, well, we'll see if she likes this. And then like you don't click on it and they're like, oh, well, maybe that video is just rubbish then, So I think it should help to confuse the algorithm less, and you should get suggested more stuff that you are liking as opposed to more stuff that you like, this isn't really for me. So I'm hoping that that is making a lot of sense. It's basically, and I'd just love to know if how accurate this is really. Let me know if you're watching live or if you're watching on catch up. I'm going to go back through these comments because I only want to do what kind of works for you guys. What I'd love to know is, would this work for you? Are you someone that actually doesn't watch the trip content and moving it would work? And if you already watch the Disney stuff, will you be open to watching some UK stuff? Will that be helpful to you? I'm really hoping, my hope is it'll be really helpful to you, because I know, I love it when I get messages when I'm like, oh, do you know what? We went to, I think we had one about like Alton Towers that springs to mind. And someone said that they lived really close to Alton Towers. They never thought they'd be able to manage it because their children had autism, and then they watched the vlogs and they had the confidence to go, and then they booked Disney, and it's like, oh, that warms my heart. So just want to share more places like that. I'd love to hear your suggestions of where you'd like to see us go in the UK. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 amazing UK little attractions to cover coming up very soon. So hopefully you'll enjoy all of those. And yeah, I kind of just want some feedback really. I guess am I doing the right thing? I suppose what I need to just think is, do you know what? If it doesn't work, I can just move it back. It's not the end of the world. No, nothing is set in stone. I'm not writing anything in blood here. This is, I don't know. It's just, I guess I just don't want to get it wrong. I want to keep everyone happy. I want to make videos that you guys want to see, and I want to put them in places that make sense, in formats that you enjoy. I also want to go back to doing a lot more blog posts, because I know I already put a blog post to go with each video, but it's mostly just the video embedded and some links and things that are more relevant. But I want to do a lot more kind of like, so say we go to a place, I want to kind of write that up as well and then embed the video in that, so that hopefully there'll be like a written resource. And I've started doing this on our London trip. I did this. So I did this for, I think, Shrek and Sea Life, I want to say, and maybe about the hotel we stayed in. So, right. That being said, let's go to some comments, shall we? So I've got 2 screens here. Let's just scroll back. Okay. Hi, Michelle, Gigi. Hi, Rachel, Amy, Colleen. Love your channel. Ree, you, one of the vlogs inspired me to start my own channel. Oh, that's so lovely. Question. Have you booked a new cruise yet? Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Question. Are you going to Disney again? Absolutely. I mean, we have got a Disney countdown at the moment. The one I really want to do next is California. That's what I really want to do next. But then also Universal. But then there is Universal in California. But then there is Epic Universe opening in Florida. So it's a bit like, oh, which one? Rachel says, question, now we can't do DAS from the UK. Will you be booking again? Now we have to wait to get to America. It does make me nervous because obviously it's an expensive trip. And if we can't be guaranteed the DAS, I know my children wouldn't cope with the queuing. And I know some people find that really difficult to believe because they only see my children when they're all smiley and things, but that's because filming them when they're having a meltdown would not be cool. That would not be good parenting. So it's a difficult balance, because obviously I want to share the reality of what it's like parenting children with autism, but also I want to respect their privacy, and I want to make sure that, well, I think I just always know that at any time in the future, they could watch anything I put online, they could watch, or anything I write online, they could read. And I'm always mindful of that when I kind of put content out. So, yeah, I just know they wouldn't cope very well without DAS. They just wouldn't. Gigi, here for the Disney Channel, join the regular channel for hauls and decluttering. Oh, there we go. Well, I mean, if you love both, then it's not really going to make much difference to you, because if you're happy to watch both, then, it shouldn't make much difference. It should, however, I think someone in my Patreon said this, though, sometimes you're in the mood for trips and sometimes you're in the mood for more of this. So it should just make it easier to find what you're looking for. Although I do put everything in playlists, it should just, yeah. Okay, hey, Rick, question. Are you going to be doing grocery hauls videos soon? I'm going to be honest, and I'm really sorry if this upsets people, and I understand if you want to unsubscribe, but probably no. The reason being, and bear with me, don't hate me. Do you remember last year? I was like, right, okay, everyone's asking for grocery hauls. I'm going to go back to grocery hauls, but I feel like a fraud just being like, hey, here are my groceries that I bought. They're pretty much the same as I always buy because my children have autism and I always buy the same things because they like the same things. So I thought, right, I'm going to go to different supermarkets, okay? I'm going to do a series where I physically go shopping in different supermarkets. I'm going to show people what's there. I'm going to buy different things. I'm going to sample them. I'm going to review them. It's going to be great. And I thought, well, there you go. I won't feel like a fraud then because at least I'm showing different things. The meltdowns I had to deal with from my children and husband when I bought things in Aldi and they didn't taste right, I was just like, I'm never doing this again. I am never doing this again. And the reason I don't do grocery hauls is because I buy such similar things. It's all so automated. It's just like, I feel like a fraud making the same video over and over. So for that reason, probably not, if I'm honest. Sorry, really sorry. Amanda, hi everyone. I watch your vlogs from both channels and love them. Oh, thank you. Gemma, even my kids call you mummy before when watching their vlogs. I know, and that's fine. I don't mind. But I think there is this element of when we become mothers, we lose our identity. And I don't want my children to grow up and lose their identities, so I need to model having my own identity too. Does that make sense? So that's Michelle, found you on your main channel, then found out you had a Disney channel at the same time, and we're on the staycation cruises were announced. Yes. Found your Disney one first, then moved to your original channel. Fantastic. Trips channel. Yes, I think you said that before I got to to what I'm discussing. Please do comment, I'm scrolling down to get to them, on what you think of this plan, by the way, because I genuinely want your input. Rebecca, I'm 26 and single with no kids. Watch both channels just because I love your videos. That's so lovely. Thank you so much. And obviously, just because I say I'm talking to mums or whatever, I think the reason I say that is because it's helpful to think of who you are speaking to, because other than just talking to a camera. So if you have someone in mind that you're speaking to, and this is just good advice if you're ever making YouTube videos, really. If you've got someone in mind you were speaking to, the video makes more sense and it's just easier to know what to say. So in my head, I'm just talking to another mum. I'm like talking to basically one of my friends who is a mum and has, children and the things to juggle, because that way I know what they're struggling with. And honestly, lots of the time I'm just talking to younger me. So that's why I say I'm talking to mums, because ultimately all the marketing gurus will always tell you if you talk to everyone, you talk to no one. But it doesn't mean, obviously, that excludes anyone else. And I'm thrilled if anyone wants to watch that, honestly. Disney Channel name ideas, Gemma says, and then she puts a ... and no name ideas. Have you got the ideas for me? I'd love them. The fantasy, said Hills Handmade. Maybe, wink wink. Let us know if you'd like some more magnets. Oh, Jack, yes, you were the one that gave us the magnets but didn't want to be in the video. The beautiful magnets, thank you so much, we love them. Gemma, yes, you came up with Merry Monday. Thought so, brilliant. Right, Gemma, I love both the Disney and the other channels, different Gemma. Like the recent London ones, inspired some sites that my son wanted to see last week. Oh, amazing. Yeah, so hopefully that's the idea, that if your kids love the Disney videos, but obviously it's quite difficult to, maybe some people go to Disney every month. I wish I could. But hopefully if your kids love the Disney ones, then they'll also love all these other trip ones that we've got coming up, and you can sit and watch those too. And it might be a bit easier to take your kids to see those, because you can just like go for the day or go for one night, and it is a bit more affordable. Annette says, I love the idea of Memory Monday. Sounds fab. Oh, good. Would you love to see some like really super old ones as well, where the kids were tiny, if I can scrape those together? Or just some more recent ones. There we go. I think this would work, says Christina. Thank you. I see, my gut has been telling me this is the right thing to do, but I feel like you guys, this is going to sound really weird now, I'm totally bonkers, but I feel like you guys are so part of this with me. I feel like, although I'm literally sitting here talking to myself, I don't feel like I'm talking to myself, because I feel like I'm talking to you guys, and I feel like I'm talking to all those people I met on the cruise. And this is why it's so genuinely helpful when people send me voice notes or come and say hi when they see us on the cruises or in the UK or wherever. And I actually hear from humans about which videos or like recently I've started doing a bit more marketing consultancy stuff and helping people with their channels and things. So I've been doing Zoom meetings, and it's been just so nice to talk to people and for them to say, oh, I really love your videos and I love them, this is what I like about them, or this is how it's helped. And it's so nice to feel like there are real humans and real people, which I know is mad because obviously you're real humans and real people, but I think you can get so caught up in YouTube analytics and numbers and it's just text on a screen, and I know because I've met some of you, I've been blessed enough to meet some of you, that you are real people out there, and I feel like you're part of this with me, and I feel like I'm doing this for us, and I want you guys to be happy with what I'm doing. So that was very long-winded and blabbery, and I hope it made sense, but yeah, I want your approval. That sounds awful, doesn't it? But I want you guys to be happy with what I'm doing, basically. Amy says, I love both channels, even though I'm not a mum. I find the Mummy of Four channel super motivating and helpful for ideas on how to stay on top of my own stuff. Oh, amazing. By the way, always, if you've got specific ideas for videos you want to see, specific like things you want me to cover, especially with the organising and decluttering and all that kind of stuff, do let me know, especially if you're in my Patreon. If you just go to mummyof4.com/Patreon, and just like let me know in there, because I find those messages much easier to keep on top of. Christina says, all the trips on one channel would be great. Yes, excellent. Hills, I'm a US watcher. Oh, cool. I love the Disney cruise vlogs. The UK stuff won't pertain to me, but do work for you. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I guess obviously it won't be as relevant for you if you live in America, but it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to please everybody. Gemma says, I love your autism travel tips. It'd be great to see some more UK budget-friendly trips. Yes, there we go. Some budget. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, a lot of the places we'll be going, for some of you will be day trips, because for some of you, you will live close to these things. We live in Wales, so we're not that close to a lot of things. We end up staying overnight for things. But for a lot of you, if you're living more centrally, a lot of the places we're going to be going over the next few months, you could go for the day. You wouldn't even have to stay overnight. So obviously that makes it much more budget friendly. Debbie says, hello. Magical adventures with Ray. Yeah, well, that would work. I think, I guess I'll have to just phase it in. I'll have to be like, Mummy of Four does Disney, just so people can still find it. I'm really worried if I ditch it all together, if I ditch the Mummy of Four does Disney, people won't know who the hell I am, and they'll look for it, and YouTube will be like, nope, computer says no. Colleen says, I love the idea of putting all the travel inspiration together. My daughter and I do watch the Disney videos, and she likes The Earliest Staycation and Thomas Land randomly. Oh, I forgot about Thomas Land. I'll have to put that on there every Monday. I love it. And Courtney says, your Disney helped me, special for me. I have cerebral palsy. I'm friends with autism and other disorders. I'm really glad that it helps. I'm really, really glad that it helps. Okay, so yeah, so to clarify, I think if everyone just like give me a, yeah, you're doing the right thing, Ray, in the comments if I'm doing the right thing, okay? I think we're going to go, main channel will just be Mummy of Four UK, Rihanna Morgan, and eventually Rihanna Morgan, Mummy of Four, and then just maybe drop the Mummy of Four. I don't know. Maybe leave it in for nostalgia. I don't know. And then magical adventures, magical trips. Hang on, right, here we go. Gemma. Magical adventures. Morgan's magical adventures. Adventures with rhinos. I think that's mostly Ree and crew. Neurodiverse family adventures. Cool. That all works. Have you announced your next Disney trip? Says Dawn. I have inside of Patreon. I haven't 100%ed on it because I explained in that, but we weren't 100%. We weren't 100% we're going. I'm now like up to 90. Okay, so yeah. Hope you do Paulton's Park at some point. We're going there before our cruise. Would love to get useful tips from that. Yes, exactly. It is close by, isn't it? Yes, we have done Paulton's Park before. Probably going to be doing that. All trips on the same channel would be great, says Amanda. 194 days to Disney Fantasy British Isles cruise. Amazing. Can't wait. Michelle says doing the right thing. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, my love. Yes. Okay. I thought I was, but I just doubt myself so much. And I think, honestly, this is going to sound really weird, but most people in my real life, I find it really hard to explain what I do for a living, especially to other adults. Children understand, but to adults, like, people, like, if I bump into someone like I haven't seen since I was in school, they're like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, oh, I'm in marketing, because I just can't explain it. I can't explain what I do for a living. If I say I'm a YouTuber, people like they think I'm like gaming or something. They say I'm an influencer. It's just, I hate that term. I don't know. I just don't feel like it reflects what I do. So anyway, I feel like you guys get what I do, okay? Because you're in this with me and because you watch the videos, you get it. So I feel like I can ask your opinion on this stuff. Whereas there's just no one in my real life that really understands, very, very, very few people anyway, that actually understand what I do for a living, let alone being able to give me actual advice on what to do. Am I doing the right thing? Can I do more disabled stuff? Yeah, well, I will always try and show accessibility options for wherever we go. And we'll definitely keep all of that in mind when going forward. Hill says, my daughter wants to do Captain Minnie at Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique after watching your girls on the last visit. Oh, well, that's the thing. We've got to do another cruise before they grow out of those Minnie Mouse outfits because they can wear them for embarkation, can't they? Gemma says, Magic and Miles with Ree. Yeah, that could work. Beyond the Castle. There we go. Well, see, initially, I'm scared to drop the Mummy 4 Does Disney altogether just from people being like searching, because if I look at my YouTube analytics, a lot of the search terms are Mummy of 4 Does Disney or Mummy of 4, so people are actively searching for the channel by typing in the name of the channel and finding the videos that way. So yeah, would you do another channel for your autism videos? Well, actually, autism is something I'm talking about a lot on my podcast channel. So are you following my Real Talk with Ree channel, Courtney? Because that's a podcast channel. I'm literally I just sit here and talk and chat about autism, ADHD, organisation, all that kind of thing. And it's super chill and chatty, but hopefully that will be of interest to you. Rebecca, you are a content creator on YouTube. Maybe that would explain your job more. Yeah, that's true. Content creator doesn't make me cringe. So yeah, that is better, isn't it? I think I just need to stick with that. Yeah, I don't know why. I just really struggle to, I just struggle to explain to people what I do for a living. I think it's just because so many people don't understand. Honestly, my husband doesn't even really understand what I do for a living, and obviously he lives here, you know. Ree does Disney and more. Yeah, cool. You know, I think that's I think lots of different options. There we go. Michelle says the girls' Minnie Mouse outfits are inspiring us to come up with some Disney outfits. Oh, see, I love that. I love all of that. Right, if you guys are still here, I would love it if you could do a screenshot. Okay, so I'm gonna smile. Take a screenshot or a pic of what you're doing, and then tag me on social media, just so I know that you've actually. There we go. Did you take a screenshot or a picture? Yeah, tag me on socials. The other thing I don't know what to do, I guess my Instagram handles Mummy 4 Does Disney. I don't know whether to change those. There was a big scare a while ago about everyone with Disney in the name had their account shut down or something, but obviously that didn't fully happen. But I don't know whether to just amend the bio over that. I don't know. So open to ideas about that. Gemma says the podcast is great. Thank you so much. People say I have autism, but I struggle to get diagnosed because I have cerebral palsy. It's so difficult, isn't it, Courtney? Because yeah, I mean, I've talked extensively about the difficulties of trying to get children assessed with autism. Lots more to say about all of that. So yeah, every Monday at the moment on the podcast goes out at 9 a.m. on my Real Talk with Ree podcast channel. So formatting going forward, I'm thinking stick with the Disney videos on what's currently the Disney Channel every Saturday at 8 a.m. That's when they currently go out. The reason I put them out then is because people have the whole weekend to watch them. And I think a lot of people are tagging me watching things with their kids, like in their jammies and stuff. And things used to go out on Sunday, didn't they? So I thought, well, if you put it out Saturday morning, you've got the whole weekend. So there's that. And then my other videos currently go out Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. So if I always stick with Tuesday as the what's it called, the main channel video, I have to stop calling it main channel, home channel. It is like home stuff, isn't it? I think that's what will differentiate it. Like if it's at home, basically if it's anything that would just appeal to mums, grown-ups, I guess, not really to kids. So shopping, organising, general vlogs, chit-chatting, all that sort of stuff. Decluttering. So much decluttering happening, guys. It's I'm so excited for the decluttering to be done. Not excited to actually do it. There's a lot of me walking around being very overwhelmed, but still, there we go. Right, okay. Let me see. So yeah, and then the Thursday video I would consider as like a floating one. So if I've got a trip coming up, then I'll put out like, say, UK travel content on the Thursday, and then if we haven't been on a trip, I'll put one on the main channel. I think that was my thought. Okay. Chloe says, would you ever consider doing more videos on the Disney/travel channel? I love both channels, but when I know you're going to post trips, either Disney or UK trips, but one upload a week feels like forever. I know, that's the thing, but the reason I do it, and you guys probably like, why would you like have any idea, but the editing on the Disney and the trip vlogs takes such a long time. The editing on the main channel videos takes not that long, whereas I put so much more kind of, energy into kind of like showing the magic and matching. I always try and match like the music to the theme of the ride, and then I go and find the information. I put it on screen about how tall the kids have got to be, and there's just a lot more information that goes into those, because I know that people are using them, yes, for the magic, and that I really want the magic to come through the screen, whether we're in Disney or in the UK. And I want that magic to come through, but I also want them to be super, super informative. So whereas I'm talking something at home, it doesn't need all the bells and whistles, so the edit isn't as intense. So ultimately, I just really struggle to put out, like, I'm already doing 4 videos a week. So that's why it is a bit, I just can't physically get them out quicker than that. I do have the early release videos in my Patreon. There are sometimes some tweaks made to those, because they're the ones, on the trip channel generally anyway, because I watch those. They often the totally finished ones, but sometimes they're the version that I'm then going to watch on the big TV and be like, oh, I think the music's a bit off that, and there's just some little tweaks and stuff made before the final version goes out, because that's what I tend to do with the trips videos, because the edit is that much more involved. But there are early release videos inside of my Patreon, starting from £5 a month. If you kind of, like, Patreon's just a way to support creators and get some extra perks and bonuses. So there are, in fact, I've got some new bonuses and things I've just sorted for March. I've got my decluttering workbook for which will now be home channel tier. I'm going to have to check, that's the other thing, I'm going to have to change my Patreon tiers. So all of the trip stuff will now go into the trip. I'll have to basically rebrand it into the magical adventure stuff. So Gemma says, you could always do a morning routine on a Disney cruise trip as an extra trip video without so much editing. Genius, absolute genius. So that's why it's challenging to get the amount of content out. The other reason I would maybe be able to put more out is if I literally had to pay someone else to do my editing. That's the only way I could actually do. So upload more than once a week if possible when a long trip. Well, I could do perhaps, or maybe initially more than once a week, but then what I'd have to do is sacrifice like a home channel video in order to do that. And I'm totally up for that, but I already know I've overcommitted myself. 4 videos a week is totally barking mad. 3 was plenty, and then I added the podcast in. 4 is like, don't do that, people. It's not sensible, it's not achievable. But like I say, the other option is I outsource some of my editing, which is an option. The other thing I am seriously looking at doing is outsourcing perhaps something like thumbnail design, SEO, stuff like that quite frankly I'm not that good at anyway, and then maybe I would free up a bit more bandwidth for more editing. Maybe I could upload more, I don't know. And then obviously the branding. So I've talked about wanting to change my branding. I have talked to a couple of people about branding and things, but obviously everything's been on hold because of this. I have got kind of a temporary new placeholder logo, which I'm not sure you can see on screen somewhere. You probably can't here, can you? But you'll see on a lot of my my thumbnails and things. So I've got that as a placeholder kind of rebrand thing, but ultimately I'm going to have to redo like logos, headers, channel names, email sequence it. There's quite a lot of work to do, but I think it'll be worth it. I genuinely think that it will make sense. Michelle says, don't burn yourself out. Lovely, thank you, Michelle. Do you know what, this is the year I don't burn out. This is the year I have to have better boundaries and be like, I'm not going to burn out this year, because honestly I was so ill last year And I think it was just burnout. I think my immune system was just screaming at me. Amy says, have you ever thought of doing a podcast episode every other week and no podcast episode and do an extra trip one? That is a possibility. The only thing is the podcast takes this much time to edit and the trips take this much time to edit. So I could do possibly, maybe ish, sort of. It's an option. But yeah, Michelle is right in that I've got to, as much as I want to keep everyone happy, and I really, really, really do. And I really appreciate, I love that you're excited for the videos, and I love that, that everyone's enthusiastic about them. But I've got to try not to burn out. And ultimately, sometimes I batch things up in Patreon. So sometimes in Patreon, there'll be a good few videos. And I get that people might be like, why didn't you just publish them? It's because I don't want to have then a gap where I'm not publishing anything. So I like to have a few videos in the bank. So I'm always editing like today's video for 2 or 3 weeks time. And that way, if life happens, like I'm ill or my children are ill, my business doesn't stop running and videos keep going out. So I have to try and work in that buffer time in order to protect my time, I guess, for when life happens, for when we're away, for when I'm ill, because I haven't actually taken time off. I haven't taken a whole day off, a complete day off since I started this, even when I've been ill. But hey ho, I don't want to complain. I don't want to complain because I absolutely love it. But that's why I think that's why I can't upload more than I can. Gemma said, good luck with the rebrand. You've done so well building the platform you have now from the past 8 years. 8 years? Oh my God. Has it been 8 years? It's mad, isn't it? YouTube, yeah, I guess it has been. So I started YouTube 8 years ago. And then my blog, my Instagram. Honestly, Instagram now, I still have Instagram. I don't put loads of energy in Instagram. I know sometimes I don't show up on stories for days and things. But then again, it's like I've got to figure out like what's my top priority. And I feel like YouTube and then my Patreon, because that is all to do with YouTube, and my planner store and all my bonuses and things for Patreon and putting together more printables and things. That's kind of my top priority. And then when I've got time for that, like I do Instagram. Apparently I'm on TikTok as well. I do actually, there's like through my scheduling software, I send things to TikTok. I'm not sure I've even got TikTok downloaded on my phone, but apparently you can find me on TikTok as well. I send stuff there. Gemma says, I think you're amazing juggling with all the kids too. Definitely find time for you too. Thank you, lovely. I think what I've never realised before is, as everyone's like, oh, self-care and can't pour from an empty cup and stuff. And I've known it all, but I've not really heard it till recently, and I'm starting to hear it. So fingers crossed we can kind of all do a bit more of that, burn out less, and generally just stay more high vibe and manage to keep going and not crash and burn totally. Anyway, I'm so grateful for everyone that's really given some input this evening. I feel so much better about this. We are going, I've been packing today for a trip that's coming up very, very soon. UK trip, very, very soon. Not much longer after that. In fact, we've got a few UK trips coming up over the next few weeks and months. And yes, there is a Disney trip coming up this year. And most of you have been pretty accurate with the guessing. Amy says, would you open to designing notebooks as well as your planners? Love the planner, but would love that option. Absolutely. I've got so many things. I've got lists. I've got like a big clipboard up here of all the things I want to do. And the problem is I've got too many ideas and not enough hours in the day. But yeah, notebook, absolutely. I've got like a feelings journal I'm developing for kids. Ultimately something I want to use for my own children. I've got an autism assessment journal, name to be confirmed, but basically something to support parents who are going through the process, somewhere to keep all of the information that they need for the meetings and log everything so you can just kind of feel really in control. I've got so much stuff. I've got more, just so many things I want to like put together for you guys. Right, maybe when SJ Coaster Crazy, maybe when Will's is a bit older, he could possibly help with your editing as well as his own channel. Well, maybe. He is doing really well. I'll have to get a second laptop, and yeah, maybe he could actually. Or he could certainly like do the first cuts for me and I could finish them. I would of course have to pay him, but yeah, it would at least be a good experience for him, wouldn't it? Anyway, I am super grateful for you all. Just checking, is there anything else I needed to say? Yeah, basically I'm just probably going to be jumping in with a lot more kind of I love the feedback from you all. Love the feedback from you all. I'm going to be running new like names by you, so look out for polls and things on YouTube. We're going to be running by names, logos, reshuffles for Patreon stuff, all that kind of stuff. If you were inside my Patreon, then I'll be putting polls in there as well. So look out for those. It's mummyoffour.com/Patreon. I'd love it if you could join my community in there. Like I said, there's a forever free plan if that's what you want to go for, or there are paid options if you want the bonuses and to support me as well. So thank you so much. Gotta find the button to end this thing now. Night everyone.